Amara Walker reporting for us. Thank you. Let's get some more on all of this. Dr. Ashish Jha is joining us, the Dean of the Brown University School of Public Health. Dr. Jha, thank you so much for joining us. Do you think this new Johnson & Johnson vaccine will still play a key role in containing the pandemic, even if it's not necessarily quite as effective as the shots from Pfizer and Moderna?
Yeah, so Wolf, thank you for having me on. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is really terrific. It's a very, very good vaccine. And, on the issue of is it as effective as Moderna and Pfizer, the bottom line that we care most about is hospitalizations and deaths. And this vaccine is terrific, basically 100% at preventing hospitalizations and deaths. So I think it's going to end up playing a really big role in our efforts to bring this pandemic under control.
Does it make any sense, as some have suggested, Dr. Jha, that we reserve, let's say, the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines for the highest risk Americans and offer the Johnson & Johnson shot to everyone else?
Well, there's a little bit of data, and again, we'll see what the FDA's advisory committee says, that for people over 60, this vaccine seemed, again, I don't want to overstate this, maybe to be not quite as good. So one could argue that if the advisory committee says, well, maybe for younger people, this is a better option, that could be a way that we split this. But basically, even for older people, the vaccine was really terrific at hospitalizations and deaths and preventing those. So we'll see how this plays out. But I do think it'll end up being an important part of the whole mix of tools we have.
Would the Johnson & Johnson vaccine be more effective if there were a booster 3 or 4 weeks later, you got a second Johnson & Johnson shot, as is the case with Moderna and Pfizer vaccines?
Yes, a great question. That clinical trial is happening right now. We don't know. If I had to speculate, I think it's possible that we may find that a second dose of the J&J may end up being a really helpful thing. I think we'll know more in the next couple of months. That trial is happening just, even as we speak.
Yeah, one shot is great, but if 2 shots might be even better, but we shall see. We know that these vaccines, Dr. Jha, are very good at preventing severe disease, hospitalization, certainly death. But as Dr. Fauci said today, it was pretty alarming. So many people who have had mild or moderate cases of the virus often have symptoms, serious symptoms, painful symptoms that linger for several months. Are you optimistic that these vaccines will prevent these kinds of chronic symptoms?
I am. Again, we don't know, but we haven't seen a lot of people who got these vaccines who then ended up having those long haul symptoms. So I'm hopeful that these vaccines will also end up preventing what we call the long haulers. Do I know for sure? I don't. And we should know more of that in the weeks and months ahead. But I hope this is part of that important set of tools we have for preventing even those complications.
I want you to look at this, Dr. Jha. Moderna exploring new strategies to tackle the South African COVID variant, including a variant-specific booster shot of the standard vaccine or a combined booster shot. Which of those symptoms, from your perspective, would make the most sense?
Yeah, so a couple of things on this, Wolf. I mean, I do think these booster shots are going to potentially end up playing an important role. Even the current vaccines do seem to work against the South Africa variant, but having a booster specifically targeted towards that, I think, can be quite helpful. But there's a broader point here, which is as long as we're seeing large outbreaks happening in other parts of the world, we're going to constantly be chasing our tail. We're going to have to be coming up with boosters all the time. So the best way to put this pandemic behind us is to have a global strategy that gets everybody vaccinated so we can move on from this horrible pandemic.
Good advice as usual. Dr. Ashish Jha, thanks so much for joining us.